Hey guys, it's Matt here, and today I'm bringing you guys another episode of Matt Rants. But before we begin, I do want to mention a few things. First of all, if you guys have noticed, the channel's been a little bit quiet as of late. No, some of you guys might like that. I mean, it's not talking, but either way, it's been quiet as of late. So is our those guys on the radio channel and our TG Productions channel as well. And the reason why is, as I mentioned in some of my other videos, I have vertigo, and I don't have it anymore. Thankfully, I'm doing just fine. I recovered, but I got it last year around the same time, and I got it this year. I don't know what that's about. Don't know why I'm getting summertime vertigo. Sounds really cool, but it does not feel good at all. Either way, though, thankfully the sequel was not as, in a way, good as the original, I guess. I say good in the sense that it wasn't as potent, wasn't as strong. I was able to get over it a lot quicker, and I stayed hydrated, and that kind of helped me. So I would say to you guys out there, I gave this advice before in our Kikaku Corner podcast, and I'll give it again: stay hydrated. I don't know why it helped, but it did. Well, I know why it helped. Water helps. Like, it's good to drink water. It is healthy for you, but still, I feel like that is just a magic potion or something. So drink more water, everybody. If you think you're not feeling good, drink more water. Also, some of you guys out there are saying you should probably go to a doctor for that, for my vertigo. It only comes once a year, but if it ever happens again, I'm going to go to a doctor right quick. Anyway, we're coming back with a vengeance. So we should be having Matt Rants on a daily basis for a bit, because there's a lot of topics that I really want to talk about. And also, we're ending Those Guys Play Season 4, wrapping that up this week, or rather at the end of this week. And also, later on this month, we're finishing up a show. So actually wrapping it up, it's ending rather nicely. So that's really cool. Hope you guys like that. Hope you guys end up watching that. But now we have to talk about the topic of the episode, which is the Filip Miucin controversy. Pretty sure his name is pronounced Miucin, by the way, so I'm gonna pronounce it as that for the rest of the video. If it's not, sorry about that, guys, but I've heard his name pronounced as Miucin everywhere, so I'm gonna say Miucin. Also would like to say that usually with Matt Rants, if you guys are new here, we have some new subscribers. Hello everyone, happy that you can join us today. We have some new subs, so I just want to mention that usually when we do a Matt Rants, there's a question involved. So it's not just me breaking down the controversy and giving my my feedback. It's also centered around a question. So this question, and this might be shortened in the YouTube video title if I need to, but this question will be, as of right now, should Filip Miucin continue to be hired as a video game journalist? So essentially having companies hire him and things like that. So I'll get to that, my feelings on that specific question later on in the video. Right now, I will be giving you guys a bit of a breakdown on what happened with Filip Miucin, in case some of you guys don't know, or maybe you don't know every facet of the issue, because there's actually a lot to break down here, a lot more than you might think, depending on how you've been following the issue. So, or the controversy. So first off, if you don't know who Miucin is, he worked at IGN, and I say worked because yes, he has been fired since. He worked at IGN. He had his own YouTube channel before working at IGN, so before being hired. So he started off as a YouTuber, and I guess he must have impressed IGN both with his YouTube channel and with his resume, because for some reason they seem to have not only hired him, I would imagine, rather quickly compared to his YouTube or online presence, but also would like to mention that he was one of their head editors from the looks of it, at least for Nintendo stuff. So it seems as if they trusted him a lot. So he clearly, was doing a very good job. Like, there's something that he must have been doing, or other people, in fact, maybe multiple people were doing, that this guy, I mean, he just had to be really good at whatever was going on there. And if you're wondering what was going on there, if for some reason you really don't know what the controversy is, Miucin allegedly stole from a YouTuber called Boomstick Gaming. So what did he steal? He stole a Dead Cells review. Dead Cells, a game that I still have not played, but was made by Motion Twin. A lot of people are enjoying Dead Cells and talking about it. But the thing is with Dead Cells, or at least with the review of Dead Cells, in this case, it's an alleged, so I say alleged because we're not in a court of law, but it still is technically allegedly until it's proven in some way by either Miucin or potentially by, some other people giving their evidence on the matter. However, when you start piecing the evidence together, the alleged starts getting scraped a little bit. You start scraping the allegedly kind of off the record. And here's why. So, because if you're like me, right, and you see Boomstick Gaming, you see his video on it, rather, because nothing against Boomstick Gaming, people were saying, oh, this guy just has 11,000 subs, and it's like, what? No, like, that's not, what are you doing? No, it's not about him and his sub count or anything like that. So, when it comes to Boomstick Gaming's video, and you start off the video and you see some of his comparisons, and you look at it and you think, oh, I don't know if this is directly lifted just yet, because some of the stuff that Miucin, quote unquote, took was stuff like talking about the gaming genre and things like that, stuff that you could get off of like a Wikipedia page, and not from a summary of it, but like in that, if you're looking at movies especially, or even video games, of course, the box on the right hand corner where it just lists actual facts about the game, like this is a side scroller, or this is a shoot 'em up, or this is a cute 'em up, or this is that. So there are certain terms that were used that I was like, well, those terms just exist throughout gaming. If you're reviewing games, you're probably going to use that term to describe the game to people, and they'll hear that term and go, that's what that is. Or some will go, it's not technically that, it's more like this. So I'm sure, you'll see like a zombie video game that'll be a shoot 'em up, and you'll go, it's a shoot 'em up, and some people will be like, I find zombies adorable, so they're actually cute 'em ups. So you can have that kind of discussion, but either way, you'll have, journalists or people reviewing stuff putting in terms like that. But then it got to the point when Boomstick Gaming in the video was showing how the sentence structure was even similar. And the thing is, when you're doing, when you see two videos, right, matched up together, and when you see how, because the thing too, some of you guys out there, maybe you're young fans, maybe you're like, oh, but plagiarism is copying and pasting. If the words are changed, it's just fine. Not really. If you guys are wondering what, you want to hear more in depth on the video itself, if you haven't yet, you can pause this video, go down description box below, and watch Boomstick's Gaming video on it. So with Boomstick Gaming, though, interestingly enough, so he had 11,000 subs. Thankfully, he's grown to, I believe, 70K or more at this point. It keeps on fluctuating, so I don't have an exact number right now. But before I move on to my next point, also, Boomstick Gaming didn't just make the video saying, hey, here are the comparisons. He also said, hey, can you guys spread the word out there? He didn't know that it was Miucin yet, I believe. He just said that IGN stole the video stole my review. There was no, as far as I know, there is no, there's no allegations of the video, i.e. the playthrough footage being stolen. But again, the script itself, the review that was read, was stolen, according to Boomstick Gaming. And then IGN looked into it afterwards, and I mentioned a bit earlier, Miucin was fired from IGN. So IGN did actually react rather quickly. This was not swept under the rug at all. IGN did look into this, and also is currently looking into some of the other reviews that Miucin has done for IGN as well. As much as people out there are going to criticize IGN for a multitude of reasons, as you criticize a lot of other bigger corporations out there, but the thing is, when it comes to a site like IGN, because news is the product, if you want to argue the product that they are pushing, they want to make sure that their credibility stays intact. Now, I know, again, people laugh at IGN all the time and other news organizations, but having your credibility not intact and actually be proven that something was stolen, and another thing too, also, when it comes to news, like news articles and news, and talking about the news, this video is so old that of course a lot of other YouTubers have talked about it, before me, and when I get the scoop, which rarely happens, a lot of other YouTubers have talked about it after me. So when it comes to situations like that, it can be a bit harder to point out who stole what from who, because there are, like, I can't just make, I can make my own opinion, of course, but I can't make up the stuff that happened with Miucin and with IGN and with Boomstick Gaming, because that stuff did happen. So I'm reporting on that while also giving my critique as well, but that's still, and also when it comes to, my critique on this story, obviously people can have different critiques, but if I, like, even with the question that I just asked, should he be allowed to continue, being in gaming journalism or being hired by different companies, if I say yes or I say no, there has to be another YouTuber out there who said yes or no. There has to be another YouTuber out there who, if I say, Miucin shouldn't have been fired from IGN, there has to be at least one YouTuber who said that out there. So it just, we have to understand that when it comes to, giving out news, at least the news that, the way I do it, the way a lot of other YouTubers do it, that is a bit harder to pinpoint. But this is a review, this is a script, this is something that Boomstick Gaming had written from his point of view on this video game, on Dead Cells. And when it comes to IGN, when they see that something like this can happen, and they saw the video side by side, I'm sure they saw Boomstick Gaming's video, their thought was probably, fuck. Understandably so, because again, this hurts not only them, but all of the writers, the reviewers, the on-camera talent, the people who work on the website. Everything that IGN has can take a huge hit. Even something like advertising can take a huge hit just because of what Miucin allegedly did. So, that's the first thing I want to say about IGN. The next thing is, for those that have said, oh, IGN should have known, the thing is, guys, we have to understand that, yes, there was a written review, but it wasn't taken from Boomstick Gaming's written review. It was taken from his video. So, looking at Boomstick Gaming, he had at the time 10 or 11,000 subscribers. And we currently have here at Those Guys Play 130 subscribers. What I mean by, why am I giving out numbers like that, right? I'm not anyway saying, how dare you, I don't have more. No. It's the fact that when you look at the subscribers that I have and that Boomstick Gaming has, of course, he has more than we do. But when you look at both of us compared to PewDiePie or Markiplier or a lot of other YouTubers who have, not only hundreds of thousands, but, just millions of subscribers, you start to sit back and I look at Boomstick Gaming and I'm like, hey, you're a lot closer to us than, than we are closer to someone who has 1 million subscribers or more. Now, that's relevant for one reason. It's the fact that if someone steals from him or if someone steals from us, and I'm not telling them, I'm not trying to give them free reign, steal from us, come on. No, do not steal from us. Credit us, ask us, and then credit us. Don't steal. But the point is that, it can happen because if you see one of my videos or one of his videos or someone else who may have gotten their video stolen by Filip Miucin, allegedly, we'll talk about that a little bit later. So when that happens, you have a situation where how can you, until one of our fans or one of his fans goes, look at what happened here, or, I go, look at what happened here. Until that happens, you can't really prove anything because there's no algorithm that, like IGN and other news organizations have to now invest into an algorithm that can, how would you have to manage it? You have to take every single YouTube video that gets made on a certain subject before someone wants to write on the issue and go, excuse me, sir, we have to wait until we have all the videos in the algorithm. And some of you go, oh, that sounds perfect. That sounds easy. No, because so many YouTube videos, I can't even calculate how many off the top of my head because I don't have the data in front of me. So many YouTube videos get released on certain topics on a daily basis. Think about how many videos right now that are being released about the Nintendo Switch or about certain things about the Nintendo Switch. Even rumors that we might cover in a future Matt Rants about the Nintendo Switch. That you sit back and you can't get all of those videos every single, because think about how every single minute. Think about if you're a YouTuber out there or if you see YouTubers and you have, you subscribe to a bunch of different YouTubers and you'll see in 1 minute, it'll show how many videos in your sub feed will come up and you're like, whoa, that's like 10, 20 videos right there. Imagine that across the entirety of YouTube. So you can't have an algorithm or something like that to try to pinpoint how a video matches another video or a video matches another script. It's frustrating, but IGN just has to look at someone like Miucin and go, can we trust this guy? But at the same time, how could you, like now, of course, it's like, yeah, I don't trust him. Right now, I don't. Now you can say you don't trust him. But at the time, how could you have gotten that, right? How could you have gotten that from Miucin? Maybe you could say, oh, well, give him more grunt work before giving him, the bigger reins. But why would you not say that? Why is it? It's not only a YouTuber thing now, is it? Like, why would it not be the case of every single person? How can you promote, or how, either within the company, or how can you hire someone to do a certain role if everyone coming in has to do grunt work? No one can come in a manager position of any kind because you don't trust them. You can't, companies or just general, like in life, screw companies, screw corporations. In life, you can't function that way. Now, some will say, yes, but respect is earned, trust is earned. Yes, sure. But you also can't have someone that far away from you and giving them the eye, the evil eye. Like, no, I don't trust anything they say. Hi, how you doing, Matt? Fuck him. How dare he? Like, you can't do that for every single person. So frankly, I don't in any way put down IGN, because I think that this reaction that they had to the situation was the best thing that they could do. But before I move on to the apology video, actually, no. At this point, we can move on to the apology video because there's some stuff after it as well. So the apology video was trash. Like, if you right now, I want all of you to do a little exercise. You can pause the video right now. After I finish saying the sentence, pause the video right now and go to your trash bin and open up the trash bin, or the trash can rather. I'm from New York. Why am I calling it a trash bin? A trash can. Actually, no. Technically, it would be you can still call it a trash can, even if it's in your house. Or you know what? Again, if you cleaned out the trash recently, go outside, go open up a dumpster of some kind if you can find one, and look inside of it. And funnily enough, you won't see whatever you've recently thrown out. You would see Filip Miucin's apology video. It's a strange thing. I don't know if it's an optical illusion, but it's happening to me recently. I'm like, oh shit, there's his apology video. And might happen to you as well. His apology video sadly cannot be linked down below because he has removed it, because frankly, as much as we're putting him down and maybe even saying it wasn't smart to steal obviously it's not good to steal. It's morally, it's wrong, but still, like steal these reviews, and especially from smaller YouTubers. But even from a smart point of view, it's smart of him to take down the video, not smart of him to fucking put up the video, because again, I'll talk to you about it right now, because sadly every time it gets put up, Filip Miucin takes it down. Okay, that's a great way to get the fans on your side. Because that's basically what this video was kind of a way to try to get fans back on his side, but at the same time put down a lot of other people. So let's talk about the apology right now. So he never once said I'm sorry to Boomstick Gaming. He promoted Boomstick Gaming. He said, hey man, I'm happy that you're doing your thing. You've grown, isn't that great? Are you fucking serious, man? Come on. But he did, however, say that the plagiarism wasn't intentional, but he still apologized to IGN and Motion Twin. Like I mentioned earlier, Motion Twin made Dead Cells. So he apologized to them. So now you might be wondering, what does that mean, right? Because you're saying, well, he didn't truly say he was sorry, but he did to IGN and to Motion Twin. So to some of you guys, especially maybe some of you guys out there, you can go, see, he did say he was sorry. And then there's another half that says he didn't say he was sorry. And then there's me in the middle that's saying, no, he did apologize. And the reason why is because he wants to angle himself into a certain way to try to apologize only to the people in power, the corporations, the bigger companies. And why? Because sure, IGN probably will not rehire him. I would say probably. Well, I'm going to go with a 99% chance won't rehire him. But what about the next company? There's plenty of companies out there. Will they want to hire him? Well, if he gives his apology video, because here's the thing, if he says out loud, oh yeah, no, I did it. I'm sorry, but I did it. Well, then he's done forever. In his mind, he's done forever in every company's eyes. But if he's able to skirt around it, if he's able to say, I'm sorry to those in power who may have had their ad revenue affected, and then looks at Boomstick Gaming and goes, hey man, hey little buddy, aren't you doing so well? Wow, you're doing great, aren't you, Boomstick Gaming? And it's like, You see, that's the thing. It's really, and some of you guys might, you might say it's pure speculation. He didn't do that, etc., etc. You guys can think whatever you want to think about the situation, but why would he? It's just to say, arguably, if he's saying, "Hey, it wasn't my fault," then arguably, why are you apologizing to IGN? Why are you apologizing to Motion Twin? You should say in general, "Hey, heck, if." Even though it might make him sound worse, if he didn't do anything wrong and he did not plagiarize it and it was not plagiarized, frankly, he would probably say, look, I don't mean to come off as a jerk here, but I did not do it. I've seen the video. Another thing too, by the way, another thing he would do. I'm sorry that I interrupted. I interrupted myself, and I'm somehow apologizing. Wow, that's the kind of person that I am. Here's the thing, right? He before even talking about how we went against Kotaku and other journalists. Before we get into that, he mentioned that he mentioned his review style. He says, hey, a lot of people in the industry do reviews like I do, just one plagiarism at a time. Okay, he didn't say that. That's not a quote. What he actually said was that he does do reviews like others in the industry. And what that meant to him was taking as much resources as possible, or using as much resources, using as much resources as possible. Here's the problem, though. I'm going to name a few YouTubers that I like right now. So I'm going to name a few, right? Dreamcast Guy, RG85, Pat the NES Punk, and John Riggs, and the immortal John Hancock, a lot of Johns. So I like them, right? And of course others, well, Metal Jesus Rocks, Kelsey Lewin, Kinsey Burke. So I'm naming them for one reason alone, right? So if I'm doing a video and I want to do some research on the topic, if it's a news topic, like I said earlier, I would prefer not going to them. I would prefer going to the articles themselves, but maybe I'd click on one of their videos, see if they link some articles down below, click on those articles, don't watch the video just yet. Or if I do watch the video, I'll go, oh, okay, they mentioned this about the article, and make sure not to use any of their points, write it down, make a note of it. Don't do that, right? But here's the thing, though. That's because the reason why is, even though it is news, like I mentioned earlier, it's a bit different to, say that that's plagiarism versus this, which is direct one-to-one. The issue, though, is that I still don't want to mirror their points. I don't want to parrot their points. And I also want to make sure that I have all of my, I'm getting my research from the articles themselves, and I just want to make sure that I have everything. You just want to make sure that you have all of this stuff at your disposal. Also, in the comment section, in the description box down below. So here, when people ask me, hey, Matt, can you, I want to know that you're not making this shit up. Can you just show me, Boomstick Gaming's video? Of course, I'll have it in the description box below. I'll have a bunch of articles in the description box below. So that's what I do with every single Matt Rants when I'm talking about a story in particular, or a product or something like that. I'll have affiliate links, things like that, in the description box down below. However, with Miucin, he, with his apology, saying all the resources he used, as far as I know, because I didn't get to see the video when it first came up, thankfully I was able to get a copy of it, but, you can't upload it, so that's how I was able to see the video. However, in his description box down below, he didn't have a listing to where he actually got his, his resources from. So if he's trying to say, oh, it wasn't plagiarism, but I had a lot of different resources, it's but what were your resources? Was it watching other people's YouTube videos? Because then that's pretty much considered plagiarism. Or at least, if it's not considered plagiarism, it is at the very least potentially having, parallel thinking is a terrible excuse that has been used in the comedy world. But at least he could have said, you know what? I saw his video, and then I said, that was a nice video. And then I did my review, clearly looking at both side by side. I definitely fucked up. I apologize. Even though that sounds terrible, it still shows that he learned something. That's the thing with apologies. You want to show people that you either learned something, or that you're remorseful, or that you're going to do better next time. I guess that ties into learning with something. But when an apology, and guess what? And here's the thing too, right? Some people will say that apologies that say, I'm sorry that you felt that way, aren't valid. If you know the person, I think it might be valid if you know them very well. I will look at a friend of mine and say, I'm sorry that you felt that way. Now, some people say it's not a valid apology. The reason why, to me, it is, if you know the person, you know them, you really did not want to hurt them. Intent doesn't equal impact, but still, you did not want to hurt them, and you want to convey, oh my God, I can't believe I hurt you. But it's usually a terrible apology, because when someone says that, I'm sorry that you felt that way, it's you don't fucking know me. Just say that you're sorry for doing what you did. But in this case, he didn't say that necessarily. Again, like I mentioned earlier, he apologized to IGN, Motion Plus, all the big corporations, but not to Boomstick Gaming, because fuck the little guy, right? But at this point, though, during the video, you might be thinking, Matt, I didn't get to see Filip Miucin's video. I haven't seen anyone else talk about it. It still feels as if, yes, he didn't acknowledge what he may have done wrong, even though I can assure you, it really does seem like he plagiarized from Boomstick Gaming. But again, you could say, but it's still alleged. He says no. Boomstick Gaming says yes. I guess we'll never find out. Well, here's the thing, though. During the video, even before it became a pity party, he mentioned that, He was kind of just trying to discredit the media, trying to discredit them, which is not a good tactic. Some people might think it's a good tactic. What do you mean? Discredit them. They're lying. Here's the issue, though. When there's proof of something, like, you have to, if you are trying to discredit anyone, even if it's not necessarily media, it's a YouTuber, if you're trying to discredit them, you have to make sure that you have all of your ducks in a row, that you've actually never plagiarized, that you've never stolen any video, that you've never wronged anyone in the thing that you're saying, right? And whatever it is that you're saying. So you have to make sure that you have not done that. So in this case, when he says, you know what, Kotaku, if you want to come after me, then you know what, you'll see that I've never plagiarized anything else. And then Kotaku did look into it, and some other YouTubers came out of the woodwork. I won't say their names, not because they're, hidden sources or anything like that. Some of them have deleted some of the screenshots of stuff that they discussed, and I think some of them probably just don't want the undue attention of me bringing to light what they've already said on their Twitter accounts, so it's public in some cases. Just this idea that Filip Miucin has essentially, at first, if you think he's your friend, he's just asking you something like, hey, could you help me out with this? And it sounds nice. But then when you start thinking that, oh, it's just that, it's just a little bit of that, just a little bit, all of a sudden you start realizing, wait, he asked me for X, Y, and Z, and he used all of it verbatim. Or other YouTubers saying, he asked me to help him with X, Y, and Z, and then when I said, hey, maybe I can be, I can work with you the way that I've worked with you previously, maybe we can continue that work relationship. After all, you've been asking me for this stuff. Maybe you can have me on again. Boom, cut off completely. Interesting, isn't it? So, and these people, yes, they've kept quiet, but here's the thing too, for any of you guys that are like, they're just trying to get attention. No. Right? They already have their followings on YouTube. They already have their followings. They're not trying to beat a dead horse. Again, some of them even deleted their comments because they were like, you know what? I don't want to make it seem like I'm dogpiling or beating a dead horse. We already know all this stuff about Miucin. So it's not about the attention or this or that. It's just about the fact that, this stuff came out with Miucin. It was alleged at some point, but then we kind of had to have other people go, he's done this to me as well. It's not just this one situation. Because I have to be honest with you guys, when I first heard about this, I thought, not poor Filip Miucin, but I thought, before the apology, before any of that, I thought, ooh, wow, the deadlines must be terrible. Maybe one day he could potentially, with, a lot of apologies, potentially bounce back from this. But then everybody came out of the woodwork. And also, not only people coming out of the woodwork, like saying, hey, he wronged me in a way that wasn't technically a stealing of a review. Other videos of his, like a Samus Returns review, a FIFA 19 thing that he actually mentioned in the video himself, and other people as well actually said, no, it seems like he stole that video as well. So it's not just this one issue with Dead Cells. IGN has pulled down some of his other videos as well. Granted, that just is them investigating. Doesn't mean that he's plagiarized every single one. But still, though, it is an issue nonetheless. So, another thing as well, before we even talk about the actual question at hand, I want to mention that he turned the apology into a pity party. And that's extremely frustrating. Now, there was some valid points that he made. The valid points, obviously, that he shouldn't be getting death threats. He should never be fucking getting death threats. He did not threaten someone else. I'm not even saying that you should fight fire with fire. But it's not even like he did something that you go, oh my god, I can't believe that person died. He didn't do that. You shouldn't be sending him death threats, and even then, even with what I just said, that example, you shouldn't be sending people death threats. I would just see it and I'd go, oh, people are sending him death threats. That's why. It's not a good reason, but that's why. It's not excusing it, but it is a reason. But in this case, he plagiarized something that is terrible. I'm not saying it's a good thing that he did, but he shouldn't be receiving death threats, and more importantly, I would argue, neither should his family. Neither should his family be receiving death threats. But at the same time, though, when bringing up these issues that are going on with him, that he alleges that are going on with him, he should not have put them both in the same video. Because throughout the video, he just talks about how this has been a nightmare for him. Oh, this has been such a nightmare for me. And you know what? If he didn't plagiarize, then yeah, it would be a nightmare for me, right? It would be a nightmare for me. It'd be a nightmare for you. It would be a nightmare if you didn't do what people are saying that you did. It is a nightmare. But guess what? You don't fucking say it in the same video. Optics, you don't say in the same video. Even if you try to devoid emotion from it, clearly the way Filip Miucin is doing, you don't say in the same video, I can't believe this happened to me. It fucking happened to Boomstick Gaming. It fucking happened to IGN. Sure, he apologized, but still, it's not happening to you. Okay, and again, if he's referring to the death threats, sure. But even at the end of the video, he says, and some of you guys have been really nice to me. Thank you. No. I mean, people can be nice to him. Don't get me wrong. It's a free country. But it's just this idea that he's coming out going, thank you so much for being nice to me during these trying times. You're the one that allegedly stole this from Boomstick Gaming. What do you mean you're trying times? Oh, I'm so sorry to hear. Granted, yes, he was fired. But you know what? He still has an established YouTube platform that he can build. It's not like this guy goes from, being hired in, like, there are a lot of people out there, and I'm not trying to say that one job is bigger or better than the other, but there are people in companies right now that are merging and losing their jobs. There are people in companies right now the companies are folding completely, and maybe they can find a job in their field somewhere else, but they can't potentially take that job and do freelancing with it the same way that Filip Miucin now can. I mean, really, the fact that he just sits back and goes, oh man, this is the worst of times. This is the worst. This is just so sad. It's so sad that this happened to me. It's like, come on, man. I mean, again, if you really didn't do it, okay, I understand why it can be sad for you, but I do believe that you have to make two different videos. One that is either apologizing or not apologizing, and then another one discussing the ramifications of the death threats and things like that. But trying to combine the two, he just looks like an asshole. Even if he didn't do it, he just looks like an asshole. Because of the fact that this is something that it just doesn't look right. It's hard to explain to some of you guys, but it just doesn't look right. And what's even worse, I think, is like I mentioned earlier, he removed the video himself. He's allowed to do that. Again, I think he should make a better video if he's going to make some kind of response/apology video. But now he's trying to take down everyone else. They have clips or they have a video of him putting up this apology, trying to take them down as if it's his own personal copyright, which is kind of funny compared to what he's being, what he is alleged to have done and seemingly has done at this point. But it still is hilarious how he took down the video. Well, again, that's not the hilarious part. The fact that now other people are like, so let's discuss this video. Here's a clip of the video. And he's just like, nope, intellectual property. You can't steal my video. I'm sorry. I find that funny. But in a sick way. But anyway, we have to talk about I have to give my response to the question of the episode, right? Should he be hired by other companies? Here's the thing, right? If it was one mistake, and it really seemed like one mistake, and he owned up to it, heck, if he owned up to every mistake, right? If we find out that he plagiarized 5 different people, and he says, I'm sorry, I'm a terrible person, I did this, I need help, you guys definitely, he did say in the video, you guys, I have to work to earn your trust. Why would you have to do that if you didn't do anything wrong? So that's odd too. It was a little odd statement in the video, in the apology video. But still, if he said that though, in a video where he actually truly apologized, and I don't know about you guys out there, maybe you guys think it's disingenuous, but if I'm sorry for something, and I tell someone that I'm sorry, I will call myself an asshole, an idiot, a complete fucking idiot, a complete fucking asshole, and a lot of different variations of those words. Why? Because I'm trying to show that I truly understand how badly I messed up. But when it comes to the situation, Miucin did none of that. So for me, when I see an apology video, and it just seems like a complete corporate PR statement, which really is what it felt like he had done, it just comes off as completely disingenuous, and it feels like, especially with all these other allegations that are coming up, again, you have to ask yourself, should he be able to work in this industry? When it comes to reviews, when it comes to a journalistic point of view. And frankly, I'm going to say no. Because of the fact that he didn't, because let's just say he did nothing wrong. He still handled the situation poorly afterwards. In fact, it probably would have been better if he said nothing at all, and waited until there was a time when it felt right to come out about this, instead of saying it immediately or seemingly immediately as the situation was hot, as he could get, although I don't know if he had ad revenue enabled on the video. If he did, God fucking damn it. But I actually don't know if he had ad revenue enabled, to be fair. So he might not, it might not be a Logan Paul apology situation in that regard. So yeah, if it was just one mistake, I would say don't give him a chance right away, but let him earn it. In this case, though, with the amount of mistakes that he's made, I'm not saying that, again, companies can do what they want to do, but I don't think he should, like, if I was a company hiring, I would not hire him in at least, if I was giving some kind of grace period, 5 years or more. I mean, I don't know how I could look at this guy and think, I would like to hire that guy within the next year or two, because here's the thing that some of you guys might not realize. It is about redemption in some ways. Yes, it is about trying to give people second chances, but you hurt your own credibility when you hire a guy and something like this happens. It doesn't just affect him. It affects, that's why with some of his apology, it did make sense. It wasn't just a corporate thing. He was apologizing to the people that he worked with. Now, I still thought it wasn't genuine, but it is a good thing to do because, yes, it did, like, his coworkers are affected because if people don't want to visit IGN, ad revenue goes down because of that and other things, and you need to make cuts somewhere. His employees are going to be cut, not the CEOs, right? Not the people in power. No, they're going to be the ones that are going to be hurt the most, right? The people at the bottom, the people that he was working with. So it is extremely frustrating that he did this for so many different reasons. That wasn't really the topic of the video, but just putting that out there. So as someone who would potentially be in a position to hire someone, no, I would not hire him. And that's kind of why I say that I don't think he should be working in the journalism / reviewing, industry again. However, he does have a YouTube channel. He's allowed to do whatever he wants on the channel. Not plagiarism, but you know what I mean. He's allowed to do reviews if he wants to. But frankly, if anyone was to hire him, another thing too, by the way, I'm not saying he can't be hired as a talking mouthpiece with a script in front of him. If the script is not provided by him or anyone that's working under him. If he was just hired just to read things off of a card, I don't think that's a problem. But I think putting him in a position where he has to give his take on a subject of any type, and it's literally his take, like, don't worry, I'll come up with that thought, I'll come up with that review. No, Philip, you stand over there. We got people writing stuff over here. And no, Philip, no. Philip, no. Just don't. We got someone over here. You're just going to be the guy that talks and laughs. Like if he's doing an interview, which, again, there was, allegations of him, taking questions for an interview. Again, that was a whole thing that was part of the YouTuber stuff that was removed online. So I don't want to get that, too into that. But if he was doing a review that the questions had to be given to him, again, he's just a talking mouthpiece. I don't think that's a problem. I really don't. But in terms of him having to have credibility in an industry as a journalist, as a reviewer, as a, if you want to call him a newscaster in a way, but again, not like the newscasters like some of the legacy media where they're just being given the stories. I'm talking about people that are going on the ground, like a lot of smaller gaming journalists, kind of putting their feet on the ground, getting their feet wet. Yeah, getting their feet wet. Yeah, sure. Getting their feet wet in this, in these topics. Yes, he should not be allowed to do that anytime soon, if ever, really, because with the one accusation, I thought there was more leeway potentially, but there's way too many accusations, way too many people coming out saying this and that and this, and there's also nothing to gain from it, in my opinion. Like Filip Miucin, as far as I'm concerned, he isn't a Brad Pitt. He isn't Beyonce. He isn't someone that's so large that any of us, not that I'm saying if you're giving an accusation towards a large person, immediately it calls into question, but there are people that do think that way. That's why I'm talking to them and the way they think. This is not, it's a huge story, but it's not like Filip Miucin himself is such a household name that everyone's going to sit there and go, of course these people want to get in on the action. No, when people come out about this, I take their accusations very seriously. And so, and there's also no money involved as well. Not trying to muddy those waters, but some people try to say, it's about the money, it's about this. None of that's involved. It's just people coming out saying, I had a story, I didn't know when to tell it, and I think now is the best time to tell it because, he can't hide anymore. right? He can't hide behind, oh, I have all these followers, I have people who like me, I have this. No, he is exposed as, this wasn't supposed to be, oh god, it's coming off as one of those fucking exposing videos. It's not. Everyone else has exposed him far before I have, but still, yeah, I can't say that he should be hired. He can do whatever he wants to on his YouTube channel, but I don't know who would really watch that unless you want to see if he steals any more works. Either way, thank you all so much for listening in. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Please remember to like and subscribe if you liked the video. I also like to mention, I'm pretty sure this is our 50th episode of Matt Rants. Is it? I think we've hit 50 thus far. If we have, thank you all so much for watching all of these, for listening to all of these, for coming on our journey with us through 50 episodes of Matt Rants. I'm pretty sure I made it to 50. If I'm at 49, crap. I'll know by next episode. I'll know by the next Matt Rants, but I'm pretty sure we've hit 50. If so, cue the confetti. We don't have the budget for that, but cue the confetti. Love you all. Take care. And I want to hear what you guys have to say about this controversy in the comments down below. Do you think I was maybe too hard on Miucin? Do you think I was not hard enough? What would you guys do? Think about this, right? If you were in a company and you were tasked to hire someone, would you hire Miucin either now or ever? Really want to hear what you guys have to say. Thank you all so much. And tune in next time for another episode of Matt Rants. Okay, guys, so see ya.